Three times 3 is 9. 2 times 5 is 10.
Pardon me, sir. Could I trouble you for some information?
Nasty, nasty cheat. I shall say nothing to you. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. I shall speak only to Professor Schwartz. He understands that I have learned all my lessons. 3 times 9 is 27.
Apparently he will speak only with this professor. Perhaps the medical files on this... Closed tight. Closed tight. Closed tight. This door is quite solidly built, but the lock is rudimentary. Never again will I go out on a case without a small spoon at my side. Who could have forgotten this? This well must empty directly into an underground river. My God, there is a body inside. I am glad I spared Watson this horror. This place conceals deeds far more sinister than the mere traffic in dangerous goods. This well must empty... There should be a passageway leading from one side to the other of this wall. Perhaps someone here knows something about it. The Worship of Ghouls by Count d'Erlette. I do not think this book would give the reader pleasant dreams if reserved for bedtime reading. The Worship of Ghouls. The Worship of Ghouls. I don't know what this Gyjax studied, but judging by his office and what I saw before, he is more dangerous than any of his patients. This man seems to suffer from every possible mental affliction. Judging by the date of his admission, he must be one of the oldest patients here. The former hospital director researched his case and mentions Wolf's professor. Apparently, he was the only person of influence with the poor fellow. There is even a portrait of the late professor included in with the reports. So this is Professor Schwartz. A cable from New Orleans sent in the last few weeks. If the shipment of these goods from New Orleans relies upon a transfer of funds from Europe, it is possible the actual exchange won't take place for a few weeks. There may still be time to intervene. There's a small label that says classroom. I need a name to continue my research. I need a name to continue my research. I can pick this lock. This lock is too complex for this tool. Oh my God! I feel great pity for the patients who must have been tied to this machine. The faint signs remaining on this blackboard are in phonetics. It appears that people were forced to recite some text with no real understanding of its meaning. It's a pity that the text was erased. What's this? A battery with a crank starter. No doubt used to stimulate his patients. A notebook detailing the experiments conducted by Mr. Gyjax. These birds are from the aviary. They served a purpose beyond mere decoration. I believe I'm close to finding what I need. Do you know this man downstairs, the one perpetually reciting his multiplication tables?
Yes, he is Wolf, but you will get nothing from him. He will only speak with one man, this Professor Schwartz, but I believe he died a long time ago.
Perhaps the medical files on this man Wolf will be helpful. Closed tight. Who is this anonymous patient? Perhaps there is a file on him, as with the other patients. This should prove useful. And now, time to become the good Professor Schwartz and pay a visit to Wolf. It must be used to punish insolent pupils. Slightly excessive.
Two times 6 is 12. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 8 is... Oh, what is it? Oh, yes, 24. 5 times 5 is 25.
Apparently, he will only speak with one particular person. Ah, here's the file I was seeking. It can only be our mysterious patient. What a strange character.
So, Wolf, I see you have mastered your lesson. Splendid.
Professor Schwartz?
I congratulate you, Wolf. I cannot say the same about your other classmates. I am most unhappy with their behavior, because it seems they have been cheating.
Professor Schwartz, you saw them, didn't you? I know my lessons. I always work so hard, and the others, they crib from me.
I know, my boy, I know. But their leader, he is a doctor, isn't he?
Yes, Professor, yes. He is the most vile member of the group. Sometimes he tries to keep me from my lessons. He says he will treat me like the others who don't speak like us and who scream so very loud when he punishes them. But I keep to my lessons and recite my tables all the day. He can't stop me.
That's good, my boy. You have made me proud. Now, I need your help. Where do they meet? I must find them and make sure they get the punishment they so rightly deserve.
They meet over there, but it is well hidden and only the doctor has the code. First, he makes noise with the fire near his office. Afterwards, he makes noise with the fire in front of me. And then he makes noise behind me. You will see he does not know his lessons.
Thank you, Wolf. That's a clever boy. You have earned high marks this term, but for now you must try to recite your lessons in silence. Since I am the professor, I know and see everything. There is never a need to shout.
As you say, Professor Schwartz.
I don't need it anymore. It works. Simplicity itself. My apologies, but I do not understand what you are trying to say. If I may introduce myself, I am...
Who you are means nothing. All that matters is your reverence to the One. You came to invoke the great Lord with the speaking, and now I ask you, who am I, you wretched mortal? Even your pitiful mind can find enlightenment before serving as food for the servants of chaos.
Where are all those poor souls kidnapped in London? And what about the others who passed through here in their travels?
Your search is in vain. You are nothing to the great Lord. Soon he will heed our call, when those titans will be reassembled for the awakening of their king. The sleeping Lord shall walk the earth. You and your kind will tear your flesh when you learn how your lives insult the great Lord and Master. You will plead for the abyss, as have all those before you who fed the Great One. Those who give their weak flesh to our Lord cry for his return. So shall you. He has lain dreaming, silent, hungry, awaiting his followers. Tremble in awe. Behold, the Great One returns.
He makes so much noise. I better be on my way before he attracts the entire staff. I need a name to continue my research. I haven't examined everything yet. The worship of Gu... I don't know what this guy... Closed. Tight. Closed. Tight. Hold on, there is an oily stain on this letter. It smells of iodine. Interesting. I haven't examined everything yet. Unbelievable. These letters are from various Swiss banks and show that the doctor made several sales of precious stones over these last months, and each time for higher profit. He must have access to a real treasure. I see numerous transfers were made to an account holder in the Bank of London and another in a bank here in New Orleans. I must take note of these transactions. Pardon me, sir. I need your help. He does not seem to hear me. Moriarty! Moriarty, my worst enemy and a man who was presumed dead. Who could think this demon could have survived such a great fall at Reichenbach? He seems a shadow of his former self. There is no doubt he has truly lost his memory and therefore cannot be a part of these events.
Find this outsider as quickly as possible and bring him to the treatment room. I shall take care of his memory.
Professor, do you hear that voice? This man who is speaking to two others, a man of great intellect and ability, who is approaching and is even now right behind that door. You know him, Professor. Come now, Professor. You can't have forgotten so easily. Let me remind you, Professor. I'm going to reveal his identity. I will tell you his name. You know him well, Professor. He is... Sherlock Holmes.
Stand where you are.
At last, the laundry. First of all, I must prepare my Amos disguise.
It is the imposter! He is here!
I'll sort you out, buddy. Come here.
The doctor is not here.
We had internal concerns arise today. Herr Director is engaged with urgent hospital matters and cannot be disturbed.
Very well. We will take this troublesome wretch along with us. Perhaps tomorrow the doctor and I will be able to discuss our other matter. First of all, my friend, you should know that you have been dealing with two famous professionals. Your deceit has failed, and you should know that it is impossible to confound us. Who are you, and why have you come here?
What is your opinion, Watson?
Holmes! But what are you doing here? And you are as white as a sheet. It seems as though you met a ghost.
It's quite possible, Watson. Quite possible.
You should have told me about your plans, Holmes.
Definitely not, Watson. You would have acted in an unnatural manner and done everything to persuade me against my course of action.
You can be sure of that. Good God, Holmes, think of the risk you took.
Indeed, Watson, and I hesitate to reveal my further plans. They are likely to be far more dangerous.
Will you explain?
Even though I know the crux of this affair began in Europe and even perhaps in England, we have no elements indicating the when, the where, and the how. Our only lead would have us travel to a continent not our own, one that is wild and untamed in many ways. I assume that you now know the name of our next destination. You are quite correct, Watson. New Orleans, Louisiana, located in the wilds of America, our nemesis has a group of his men there, and we must arrive in time to stop them. We must make haste to Le Havre and book ship's passage immediately. I took precautions before our departure from Switzerland, but it is imperative we maintain the utmost secrecy regarding both our true identities and our destination. We are dealing with a cunning and powerful adversary, Watson. Quite powerful.
Do you require assistance, young man?
Ooh.
Ah, yes, young man. As a Mr. the big detective, it is often necessary to use all of one's little grey cells to solve great mysteries.
Hercule! Hercule! Where are you? Oh, here you are. Naughty boy, come along now.
Madame Poirot, your stop is coming soon. An agent will assist you with your luggage.
As soon as we find a hotel, we shall send for our bags. I took care to leave nothing of value on board. Everything is safe and secure right here. I even have a rough map of the city. As you can see, Holmes, I prepared for every possibility. And here we are in the New World. A whole continent ready to welcome us with open arms. Is this not invigorating, Holmes? Think of the challenge that lies ahead.
Indeed, Watson, but let me remind you that we have few clues and time is not our ally, and countless lives rely upon our success.
You are right, Holmes. Perhaps we should secure some local currency with our bills of exchange. At the present, we have but a few dollars at our disposal.
One more step, and your brains will be about as useful as gator bait.
The continent welcomes us with such hospitality, doesn't it?
Beg pardon, my good man. Is the bank closed for some time?
As long as it takes Mr. Blackman to come back from Baton Rouge with more dollars.
You were robbed.
Not hardly. We had a jewel sale.
When might one expect Mr. Blackman to return?
He likely could come back most any day, but he'll be gone 3 days at the least.
Is there anyone else who could shed some light on this transaction? You see, we have come from Europe and are interested in a particular set of precious stones. It may well prove to be this same set your bank sold recently.
I ain't talking, and I don't know nothing about it anyhow. There is one feller, goes by the name of Champagne. He's Cajun. He knows everything that goes on around these parts. You can most likely find him near a pile of planks at the end of the pier.
Everything has its price in America, isn't that what they say?
I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there. With open arms, Watson?
Napoleon, Lafayette. Don't mind the dogs, they just don't take to the smell of gentle folks, especially foreign ones. So what can old Champagne do for you? How's about some planks for your boat, or maybe a ride in Gator's Bath?
Some other time, perhaps. People say that you know everything that occurs in this area.
Maybe so. Don't care much what them people say. What you want to know?
We are particularly interested in a recent transaction in precious stones. No doubt you are familiar with these events.
For sure that's true. Now that you say it, I reckon I heard of some swap for jewels. I would help you out, but my poor brain's like the train with no coal. What you want me to do? Now there's a bottle of some champagne or this and that. Old Champagne'll have a thing or two to say to you. Speaking of that, it come to me true. Was a week ago, maybe two. A butler working for a rich man made himself a jewel trade to honor and co. Looks like business to be done fast and with a quiet way. By my foot, the truth is here now.
The name of the employer of this silent partner?
He go by the name Honestson. He from far up the bayou to the east. He got some crazy notions, Hatton. They must be all like that where he come from.
No doubt. One other matter. During the last few days, have you noticed any strange ship movements, especially regarding those taking leave of port late at night?
You did right by old Champagne, so I tell you true. 5 days ago, a ship, she weighed anchor in the middle of the night. She took sail right after a mess of folks brought a lot of boats to meet her and charged on board. These all came from the swamps. Could be toting contraband. Anyway, left for the old world for sure. Old Champagne keeps to his own self. No reason to know nothing more. And advice to you, stay clear. Those that sticks their nose where it don't belong end up feeding the gators round these parts.
We shall consider ourselves duly warned. Good day.
And if you wants to go for a ride in the bayou or something else, old Champagne treats you right. I take dollars, bottles, you know what, right?
Holmes, our bag! Thief! Stop! Thief!
Stop!
There he is.
He's there! Stop!
Stop right there, you two. Not a move.
But the thief, he is going to...
Thief? What thief? All I see are two foreigners tearing up my wharf, making a lot of noise. I expect you have some sort of papers proving who you are and what business you have in my parish. I assume you have proof you're here legally.
What? Of course we have papers in our bag. But that villain, he... Well, upon my word, you allowed him to make off with our bag.
What are you insinuating, sir? Are you trying to offend me?
Gentlemen, look here. Calm down, Watson.
But can't you see that...
Watson? So you are Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Please, spare us the pretense. You know very well who we are.
And a clever fella in the bargain. Listen to me and listen up good, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson. You will leave tomorrow morning for Europe on the same ship that brought you here. No need to offload your bags. Just turn around and get back on board. Nothing good will come your way if you ignore my advice. Oh, and one more thing. Without proper papers, you're nothing more than outlaws here in New Orleans. And outlaws end up as gator bait in my parish.
With open arms, was it, Watson?
Holmes, enough.
It seems they were warned of our arrival and waiting for us. Let's find the wealthy side of the city and the house of this Arneson. Come, Watson, time is not our friend. Watson, let's pay a visit to this Arneson. Ah, Watson, it seems we have arrived at the place. Look there, on the iron door.
Looks like no one is here, Holmes.
It's a pity, Watson. This is our only lead. Good morning, miss. Please don't be alarmed. We won't harm you, my dear. What is your name?
Eula, sir.
Lovely. When we arrived here, you were looking through this gate. This is the residence of Mr. Arneson, isn't it? Do you know him?
Yes, sir.
Do you know if he is at home?
Don't rightly know, sir.
Watson.
Come now, don't distress yourself like this. Why all these tears?
Because of my little brother, Davy. He serves with Mr. Arneson, and been more than 5 days since I heard from him.
Perhaps he went on a trip with Mr. Arneson.
No, sir. Tain't likely. I serves at the Gallagher's just the other side of the road. If they had left, I would have seen them. Something bad has happened. I can feel it.
But if you were so near, surely your brother would have cried out for help if there had been any real danger.
No, sir. Davy, he ain't like you and me. He's right smart in some ways. But Davy can't talk. Not a word. Besides, most evenings, we visits and sees each other across the stable door. And been more than 5 days since he been there. Oh, sir. I be mighty scared. Something has happened to him. I just knows it.
Miss, take us to this stable. Watson, I think this place is indeed isolated, and therefore quite vulnerable.
There it be. I'm gonna go wait on the road. That way, if my mistress calls for me, I can hear.
It is hardly secure, Watson. Regard the lock. It has a primitive wooden latch, which is also quite flimsy.
Bravo, Holmes! Holmes, this horse is dying of thirst. Poor animal.
He has had no water for these past 5 days, Watson.
Unbearable. He can barely move. We must find him some water, and quickly.
This should prove useful. I hope this gate is not locked, because it appears quite formidable. Open! Observe, Watson, these beautiful, well-tended flowers. Someone must care for them. Closed, tight. Water. This should prove useful. This should prove useful. This should prove useful.
Look, Holmes, a raccoon. Come here, you little rascal.
They won't allow us too close, Watson, though the little imps are rather inquisitive by nature. This should prove useful. Another footstep. The hunt is on, Watson. Blood. However, given the small amount, the wound should be superficial. Wait, this is interesting. There is a trace of mud here. Some footsteps or marks. Not clear enough to make out. Let's see if there are others.
Ah, Holmes! There are thousands of these mosquitoes.
We must turn back, Watson, or we shall be devoured.
What a wretched smell, Holmes.
quite wretched, Watson. It is the foul stench of death. What's this? Someone placed their hand near this footstep. Judging by the size of the fingers, it seems to be a youth. Why would they lean down here? Of course, to pick something up. These footsteps indicate a person of small stature, and the fact that they are so closely set suggests they made their way with great stealth. This blood on the ground came from a deep wound. I cannot budge the handle. They must have lodged something behind it to hold fast the door. Shh, Watson, listen. Whoever you are, open up. We mean you no harm. Open the door for God's sake. It's a matter of life or death.
This is useless, Holmes.
Watson, your sensibility is appreciated. We shall come back later. Watson, what do you make of this?
What a horrific sight. It has lain here for at least a week.
On the contrary, Watson, once again you see but fail to observe. The warmth of the local climate and the exceptional humidity undoubtedly sped up the rate of decomposition. Based upon my calculations, the body has been here for 5 days. Blood! Interesting. The person who sat here was fond of cigars. This must be Arnson. He appears fond of cigars. Let's examine the hands. They are calloused, with traces of dirt under the nails. This would be the gardener, no doubt. Watson, hold the basin. I think you know what to do with it.
No, I can't do that. Perfect. He can barely move. We must find him some water, and quickly. Easy now, fellow. Drink up. What could this be doing here?
Here you are, Watson. Ah, it's a ham. What a delectable aroma. If only I were hungry. Blood! Champagne. Maybe this will satisfy that old man of the same name. This metal tube is approximately 40 centimeters in length and 18 in diameter. It bears a small tag which reads, "This one without defect. My sincere apologies, E. Otis."
What the devil are you doing, Holmes?
A newspaper from 5 days ago. Someone has torn the last page. Well, it seems Arnson tried his hand at a small riddle in this newspaper. How strange. He does not seem the type to take interest in mathematical conundrums. This should prove useful. Closed tight.